Hey guys, so earlier this week we did an assignment in class where we read off the teleprompter. We did not get to see what the teleprompter said before. We just had to read it off firsthand, and obviously this was an exercise in what not to do, being unprepared and not knowing the pronunciation or anything like that. So we're about to see it, and we're going to afterwards talk about what I could improve on.
Good afternoon, I'm Allie Jones with today's headlines. The power has been restored to most of Texas following last week's winter storms, but millions of people are facing a new catastrophe. They don't have access to safe drinking water. Water treatment plants lost power, or the cold weather burst pipes in homes. Some other cities have told residents to boil water for drinking. Are Memphis, Tennessee, and Jackson, Mississippi. President Biden's nominee to become U.S. Attorney General has his confirmation hearing today before the Senate panel. Judge Merrick Garland has long experience with the Justice Department. He investigated the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995. He's expected to discuss the deadly riots at the U.S. Capitol. The Supreme Court hears arguments today in the water dispute between Florida and Georgia that goes back for decades. Florida is asking the court to make sure it receives more water that flows south from Georgia. Florida says Georgia is taking too much water from the Appalachia-Chattahoochee-Flint River Basin for agricultural and growing population around Atlanta. Florida blames the collapse of its oyster fishery in the Apalachicola Bay in the decline in water flowing south. The two states have argued over the issue since the 1990s. 7 years ago, Florida took its arguments to the Supreme Court. Two special masters appointed by the court have ruled in Georgia's favor. In the latest ruling in December, the masters said Florida had not provided the Georgia's increased water use was responsible for the oyster fishery collapse. Today, the court will hear arguments firsthand. The Biden administration is making changes for the Paycheck Protection Program, also known as the PPP. It provides small and mid-sized businesses with the federal loans to help keep people on payrolls during the pandemic. The White House says for 2 weeks, the only businesses that can apply for these loans are those with fewer than 20 employees. There have been many complaints that these PPP loans went to larger firms. That's your news for now. Stay tuned. I'm Allie Jones. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so I'm not really one that shies away from admitting whenever I've made a mistake, so I will definitely admit that I made many mistakes during that. The main one that I want to focus on is not panicking whenever I stumble over words or whenever I mispronounce a word. Whenever you are in the moment, sometimes you're going to make a mistake and you can't start laughing like I did and smiling, especially whenever you're talking about a very important or breaking news. It can sometimes be very serious, so it's best to not laugh during a serious text. And then also I would make sure that if I'm unsure of a word, I'm not going to squint. There were a few times whenever I was trying to read stuff, I was squinting, and it kind of drew you out of the moment because you were watching me squint at a teleprompter or at the camera and not listening to the news. And then once I hit my stride, I noticed that I had decent facial expressions, but I definitely may have gone overboard a little bit, especially whenever you're talking about serious topics, you don't want to have too much expression that distracts, or even like I might have been too smiley in moments or shown too much of my personality at moments, and so I don't want to distract from the news that I am delivering. But yeah, I think overall it wasn't the worst, but we can definitely improve. So hopefully next week you'll see some of my improvement. Bye guys.